Hey, what's up? I'm Max, aka Uncle Meg. I'm from
And
Brooklyn, New York. I'm
and
a
where are you
rapper.
from originally?
I'm originally from Charleston, West Virginia, and I moved to Brooklyn when I was 17 to go to art school, and I stayed ever since.
When did you start making music?
Um, I used to be like really musical when I was a kid. I was both, really interested in visual art as well as music. And so I did, piano. I was in the marching band. I played guitar. But then, for a while, I started focusing more on visual art instead of music. And I got back into it in 2012. And I ended up in the form of hip hop with, I was in a group called Hand Job Academy with two girls. And that was, my first time rapping. And we had a lot of fun.
And who did you listen to growing up?
Oh, I listened to all types of music growing up. I went through like an emo phase in like ninth grade, where I was like listening to like Taking Back Sunday and like shit like that. Um, and I like Lil Bow Wow when I was in high school. I really fucked with him for some reason. Um, and yeah, ever since high school, I kind of had. I used to be more of like a rock type person, but then hip hop started to be a huge influence for me, and I've kind of just traveled with it over the years, um, and have had a ton of different artists that have been of huge influence to me. Not mostly in that genre, but other genres too.
How did you get started, and when do you feel you got your first break?
How did I get started? So I got started because I had just graduated college and I was looking to do some music videos, shoot the music videos and edit them for a couple independent artists in North Brooklyn. And so, I ran into the girls of Hand Job Academy and I did a video for them. And then just for fun, I spit a verse and they were like, "You're in," and I was like, "Oh, really, me?" And they were like, "Yeah, you're in." So that's how I got, you know, into that whole scene, and I loved it. I thought it was a great form of self-expression for me, um, and so that's why I continue to do it today.
How did you decide that this is what you were going to do?
I basically decided that this was gonna be like what I was gonna do because it just felt right. It felt good to me, and it was a huge creative release for me uh, because not only was it fun, but like I was able to. It helped me to be myself and express myself, especially as someone with an LGBT identity, or more specifically, a person with a trans identity. It kind of helps me to put myself out there and kind of own who I am and be proud of it. So, you know, even like performing, like being on a stage, that's not necessarily um, what I would choose to do. It's a little uncomfortable for me singing and rapping, in front of a ton of people. But it's pushed me outside of my comfort zone completely, and I don't, and I'm glad every time I do it. I feel great. It makes me feel great. Pushes me out of my comfort zone, and yeah, I love it.
What's the story behind the name Uncle Meg?
So I'm transgender, female to male, and so my old name was Meg. And in my old band, first I started out as Lil T. I don't know who the fuck Lil T is. I don't know where the T comes from. Just Lil T. That's it. I like to say it was like Lil Tranny or something, but we weren't gonna say that word necessarily. Uh, but yeah, they called me Lil T until I just started niece and nephewing everybody's children, everybody's dogs, everything. So my friend, she had this little chihuahua or whatever, and I was her Uncle Meg. So it kind of stuck. And so post transition, people are like, "Oh, you're gonna change your name to like Uncle Max or like something else." And for some reason, I just decided to keep Uncle Meg. I think it can be a little confusing for people sometimes, because they're like, "Wait, when do I call you this and when do I call you that?" And so I like to just say that if you're with me in person, I prefer Max. And if you're referring to me as a performer, that is Uncle Meg. They're two different people, in my opinion.
Cool. You recently released "Can't Stay the Same."
Hmm.
What can you tell me about this album, and what was the thought behind releasing it as a free download on SoundCloud?
So Can't Stay the Same is a 10-track album that I made with my very good friend John Dett. We made it around this time last year where we were writing in my basement, and we were both going through a lot of changes at the time. Me, I was early in my transition, which was cathartic and felt kind of like weird, like a movie. It just felt like I was in a whole different world. And John, he was going through a bunch of changes himself. He was like homeless at the time, and he was looking to move to Berlin, and because he couldn't afford to live in New York as an artist anymore. And so the whole album kind of has this theme of change and growth and kind of death as well. Death as like a metaphor of kind of starting fresh, starting new. And I don't know. I feel like this album is really it's different from my other stuff. It's really artsy and weird and like it's just fucking weird. It's niche. It's for like weirdo art people. I don't think a lot of people really understood it, but I would have to say that it was just like I love this album, and I think that it's more of like a freestyle. I was so loose writing the whole thing, and it felt really good just to have so much fun, and take a lot of the seriousness, out of it, and just kind of make fun of life and just I don't know. I love John. We had so much fun making this, and it was really an awesome, connection that we formed with each other. And we decided to. I've just been releasing most of my stuff for free, um, just because I feel like it's more important right now for me as an artist for people to actually take the time to listen to my music, versus buying it. I'm not really concerned about, you know, making money on iTunes or anything because I know that's really difficult. It's like, okay, I made two fucking pennies or whatever. But yeah, I want it to be accessible to people. And I really want people to, genuinely be interested and take a listen. So, if that takes a free download that sounds enticing to them, I want people to have that.
Cool. Um, as you were saying, and I also read that on the publicist's website, that this album had a big impact on you during your transitioning to Max.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What impact would you say now, officially being Max, has or will have on your music or you as a musician?
Oh, my transition. I mean the demos that I've been writing this year, I mean they're when I look back on them as this kind of like timeline through the year, I mean most of these songs and subject matter have to do with basically a lot of internal dialogue, and it all traces back to my transition. No matter what, the topic or what I'm writing specifically about, the root of that is the transition and being in this whole new world and basically seeing the world and being like, wow, like I'm awake. I'm awake. I see things the way they are. I see reality for the first time, whether that looks fucking shitty or whether it's beautiful. Um, and there's also like a lot of darker subject matter, like a lot of stuff about questioning myself, a lot of stuff about um, feeling like I had been brainwashed my whole life, and just deep inside of the rabbit hole type stuff. Um, so I wanna the next songs I'm writing, I feel like I had to go through a darker process in order to um, want to write more, fun and kind of, I guess, happier songs. But spending that time with myself this year was really necessary for me, just to put that all on paper.
Are there some other things that are important to you like to address through your music?
Um, I think that I want to make more songs that can empower people. Um, because I like to try to use my struggles, and I want to use my struggles as, an inspiration. I don't like to sit in my shit. I want to make some stuff that empowers people. And so, that's something. But I can also just get down to that darkness and that sadness and grief. Um, and, uh, and also, I want to do some more songs that um, are fun. They're kind of tongue in cheek, poke fun at, the world or myself, and kind of, I want to get back and do some more stuff of that, typical braggy hip hop stuff, like owning yourself and owning that confidence, and yeah, because that's fun too. But overall, I just love expressing myself, and my inspiration is really directly based on my surroundings and what's happening in my current life.
Who would you most like to collaborate with and why?
I would most like to collaborate with Young Lean because he's my favorite rapper, and I he's a huge inspiration to me. Um, both from his beats and his lyrics, and I mean just everything aesthetically about him is it speaks to me, and he's definitely my favorite artist. He's just such a dark weirdo, but he's also funny, and he just his style. Nobody has his style. He's
What are
unique.
what
He's unique.
what are your interests and passions outside of music?
Oh God. Outside of music, I love cats. I just did a TNR project, which is TNR is trap, neuter, return. So where I live in Bushwick, Brooklyn, there's an overpopulation of cats, and they just keep breeding and breeding and breeding and breeding. And so the program is you get to be certified by ASPCA, and you get these like fucking crazy looking traps, and you trap these animals. You get to take them to ASPCA to get spayed and neutered for free. They ear tip them, so part of their ear is like kind of like flipped off a little bit, so that other people can see. Oh, don't bother this cat. And then we just put them right back outside, unless they're friendly. Try to get them a home, but a lot of these cats are feral, so they're basically fucking wild animals. But I just did a TNR project last weekend. Um, and I got 8 cats total, so I feel really accomplished. And then besides cats, I like weed and chilling. I have a bakery that me and my partner do, and we're just killing the game out here. So we come up with all kinds of crazy shit. I like riding my bike too.
What's your
In the warm.
favorite book, film, and music right now?
Oh God. Mm, my favorite music is right now is Young Lean's Stranger album. It's an album that came out this year, and I love it. I'm still just I've been listening to it since the fall. It's like if I love an album, I will listen to it just over and over and over. I also like ASAP Ferg's Still Striving album. I think that's a really good album. And it's just if we're just like running the block, like hyped up, just like it's dope. It's very New York. Um, and for films, I like um, I like anything that's just like kind of quirky and weird that has a little bit of darkness to it as well. It's like that's kind of I guess that's like Young Lean. It's like he's quirky, weird, and dark. But I always love films like Requiem for a Dream, Fight Club, shit like that. I like this film Kaboom, where it's like very tongue-in-cheek humor, just fucking stupid jokes, but that I think are hilarious. And then what was the other one?
Books.
Books. I just read The Handmaid's Tale, and that shit was fucking crazy. I watched the television show first, and I really liked it. And then the book is I don't know which one I like better. I thought they were both really good. Usually the film version's worse than the book, but I thought that they actually did a really good job. So yeah, I like reading that book.
So what's next?
What's next is I'm gonna just keep moving along and doing me. I mean, I'm gonna keep doing some demos. I have a music video shot, so hopefully I can release another single in the next couple months. I'm going to South by Southwest next month in March and playing the Wolfie Vibes official showcase. Um, yeah, I'm shooting a porno in June for Erica Lust. It's a transgender pornography film. So I'm really excited about that to be able to kind of educate people on how trans people have sex, basically, which nobody really knows. So, so I'm really excited to have a short film to be funded. It's going to be like a high quality erotic cinema. So I'm excited. Um, yes. Yeah, I'm just gonna be prepping for all of that. I feel like there's a lot of cool stuff coming up, and I'm excited.